Hi, everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer, and welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. I know I don't have the neon on behind me. I just discovered that it has a weird glare. I'm using a different computer as I am. My normal show computer is working on some different things, and I am pre-recording this show because I'm not actually at the archive today. So today we're going to watch films about salesmanship and sales and buying things. And so the first film, I feel like I've shown before, maybe, but it's so great. This is part of that series of Is a Blank Career for You, which were these vocational aptitude films that were made that have a really catchy, annoying song at the beginning. And so this one is for high school students or people in college to try to help them figure out like what career they want to pursue. And so is a sales career for you? Enjoy.
What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your way? What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your pay? What will you do when you're finally on your own? What will you do when you're finally on your own? What will you do when you're finally on your own?
Sooner or later, each one of you will leave the textbook world of the classroom for the reality of living in the world of work. A world none of you made, but you can help make better. A world that expects you to be self-reliant, to pay your way. Time spent now planning for that world may be the best investment you will ever make. This film will tell you about one career area wide open to young men and women in the world of sales. Before it is over, you should be able to answer for yourself the question, is a sales career for you? Did you ever happen to think of what our world would be like without salespeople to bring us new goods and services? The one, for instance, who sold your parents on the idea of group health. The one who sold them furniture. The one who sold them your first pair of shoes. The one who sold them their first house. The station wagon. Their investments. The family vacation. Yes, you'll agree, people who sell have played an important part in your world to date. Without them, both our society and our economy would be completely different. If you'd like to bring new things and services to people, help them live better and happier, a career in sales may be for you. If you're enthusiastic about everything you do, whether it be your studies, sports, your home life. If you're neat in appearance, like to dress well, and are content to keep your casuals for days off. If you're comfortable with people, like to meet them, hear about them. If you make a good impression when meeting people. If you like to be knowledgeable and can talk with conviction. if you like to explain how things work and can impart the information readily. If you're tactful and diplomatic. If you have plenty of endurance as well as patience, no matter what the situation. This film may interest you, for you may be a potential salesperson. A job specialty with more and more openings, ranging from retail store clerk to store manager, from advertising to insurance, from lumber to real estate, from office equipment to office buildings. Careers that range through all business and industry, science and technology. Careers exciting and meaningful for young people like yourself in the world of sales, paying salaries in keeping with your energy, initiative, and ability, with opportunities for advancement geared to your perseverance and personality. Careers with little need for specialized training beyond high school for many of the initial openings, though continued study and education will help you advance quickly in a chosen field. Okay, you say? Selling interests you. But how do you know for sure your personal qualities are really the basic qualities to be a successful salesperson? You know you did enjoy selling candy in school to help pay for your school uniforms. You also know you got a kick out of selling ice cream during the summer. But does liking those things mean sales is your bag, or that you'll be a success in selling? Always keep in mind, success means different things to different people. To some, it might mean having a fine family and home and living on a good salary. To others, it might mean becoming a member of an elite sales group like million-a-year insurance salesman or manager of sales of a large corporation in the higher income brackets. But whatever your goal in life, you will want to develop your personal qualities to the highest point possible. Not only your personality, but your ability, your know-how, so that you know the product you're selling, how it is made, what it can do, why it does it, and where it can serve best. In the world of business and industry, people in the sales field today are accorded a respect that is their just due. Through their efforts, whether retail or wholesale, software or hardware, services or designs, it is the sales representatives, the commercial travelers, all the people who sell, whose orders keep the factories running, keep employment up, keep the economy of the country on the upswing. Your high school education will serve you well in many of the sales occupations. You should have a good command of English, be articulate. You should be good with math. A knowledge of a language may prove a benefit in many unexpected situations, so do your best. Distributive education may also be helpful. Courses in science will be of advantage in selling such things as dry cleaning chemicals, wholesale soap products. A good physique and plenty of stamina are needed in many sales occupations. For most retail sales jobs, you may have to stand on your feet for long hours. In retail trade or wholesale, software or hardware, full-time or part, almost everything you learn in high school will help you sell. A college education, 2-year or 4-year, is needed in many sales positions. Selling securities and investments, for instance. Selling machinery requires a certain technical background, as does the sale of medical equipment, automation machinery, and similar engineering developments. Now let's take a quick look at a few of the jobs open to high school graduates. We'll start with retail sales. A simple stroll through any one of our modern shopping centers will reveal the variety of sales occupations available. Salespeople for rugs and carpets, furniture for bedroom or the whole house, shoes, wigs, candy and stationery, men's clothing, women's clothing, furs, drugs and potions and lots of notions, pets, poodles, monkeys, cats and rats, boutique gifts, radios and TV sets, recorders and stereos. For the technical minded, auto accessories. For the mathematically minded, accident and liability insurance. And for those with a green thumb, nursery products, flowers, shrubs, trees. Depending on what turns you on, when you finish high school, you might want to sell hotel and restaurant equipment, printing supplies, or typewriters and adding machines. The field of sales for high school graduates is almost without limit. Again, the choice is yours. Remember, whatever product is really your thing, it has to be sold, and you can do the selling. No matter how good you are at first, keep in mind that a salesperson must learn, must always keep up with new things. Whether you train in high school, on the job, or go on to higher education, or go to night school while working, continual personal improvement means advancement. If you want to sell securities, for example, you will need a college degree. Graduate engineers sell safety equipment, building and construction materials, heavy industrial machinery. But many a high school graduate has worked his way up through self-training to qualify for the more technical sales careers by first proving his ability as a salesperson. From tires and accessories to cars, from nursery sales to farm equipment, from household appliances to houses and office buildings, land and farms, from clerk to floor manager in a department store, from clerk to owner of a retail store, from office boy to insurance salesman to owner of an insurance agency. Enthusiasm for both your job and the products you sell usually pays off in increased sales, paychecks, and promotions. Many in sales earn yearly incomes comparable to doctors and lawyers when commissions are added to salaries and incentive bonuses. Geographically, salespeople work everywhere. A good many of those traveling every day have a career in sales. Your territory may cover the United States, or parts of it, or it may be overseas in a foreign land. A number of companies need sales representatives to sell American wares in faraway places. If you're a homebody and like to stay near home, look for a sales job that will keep you in your area. Depending on the product, of course, there are plenty of opportunities to sell merchandise in your own hometown. Sales careers permit a certain independence other careers do not. The commercial traveler, the house-to-house canvasser, the realtor usually can select their own vacation times, work at their own convenience. With wise financial planning, other salespersons usually have generous vacation schedules, with many fringe benefits those more independent do not have. Most salespeople have a comfortable lifestyle. Go on and find out about the many other careers in the world of work. Some other career may suit you best of all. But if at last you believe that a sales career is the thing for you, get all the information you can. Discuss it with a distributive education counselor and teachers who know you. Talk to your guidance counselor about your interests. Your counselor can help you with a lot of detailed information. Check in at your local U.S. Employment Service office, too. Have a talk with the Youth Service Center counselor about sales careers. Bring your parents into the act, too. Listen to their ideas. Then, if your choice stands up, you're on your way. Now, what sort of education is best for a sales career? A general, well-rounded high school program is almost a must. If you're not going on to college, it is well to remember that for some of the higher-paying selling jobs, you will be competing against others with college educations. Enrolling in the distributive education course will provide unusual preparation for selling. Business schools, technical schools, junior and community colleges also have courses that can do much for you. The best college program to follow for a sales career is business administration. Even after you start working, evening school and correspondence courses can supply knowledge you feel you're missing. Opportunities in sales work will increase greatly during the next decade to meet the growing needs of the nation's rising population. And the introduction of new products will create an even greater demand for salespeople. If you have examined the alternative opportunities, and if you now decide that selling is indeed the career for you, get cracking on it. Plan, prepare, get the education and training you'll need. Then you'll be ready. With thousands and thousands of other young people, you'll be ready to carve out a rewarding and satisfying career in the challenging field of sales.
What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your way? What you gonna do when the time comes and you have to earn your pay? What will you do when you're finally on your own?
What will you really do?
This next film is a kind of compilation film, buy at home campaign. It was made in the 30s at some point, and this is trying to get people to buy locally and not use catalogs to purchase things, to try to encourage local investment of local dollars. And it's interesting to think about nowadays with Amazon and how the concept of spending money locally is being talked about again, because the local money, it circulates in the economy. People who work locally, the money that you spend goes to them, and they contribute to the economy locally, and then it kind of just fluctuates, or not fluctuate, but it just kind of does a circular thing. So in general, I think that's always a good way to go, and whenever possible, I try to buy locally. So anyways, this is the Buy at Home campaign. Enjoy.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This program has been prepared and presented to you by a selected group of local independent businessmen who seek your cooperation to stimulate prosperity and create additional payrolls in our community. Has it ever occurred to you who it is that has made possible these beautiful paved streets and highways that enable us to drive our cars with such ease and comfort? Just in case any of you have forgotten, I shall remind you that your local merchants contribute approximately 65% of the taxes to afford us this luxury. They fully deserve our and your support. And when your home is menaced by fire, we cannot expect the fire department from some other community to assist us. We are wholly dependent upon our own fire equipment to protect us from this hazard. And remember these volunteer firemen who so generously contribute their time that we may feel secure in this, their protection, with the result of their work, all of which is made possible through taxes, to which the local merchants again contribute 65%. How vivid in the memory of all of us is the little red schoolhouse. It will always have its sentimental value, but compared to the modern structures and today's methods of education and instruction, our children are highly fortunate. The pedagogical training of our teachers, the complete equipment and safety of our schools, the careful attention to the protection of their health and training are all sustained, furthered, and made possible by taxes. And 65% of these taxes are paid by our local merchants, sturdy citizens of a sturdy, progressive community. That is your community. Very soon these young girls and boys will be ready to enter the business world, yet how often have we heard it said that there is no opportunity in this community for my boy or girl, and that it is necessary for them to seek employment in the larger cities. Many opportunities could be provided from the industries of this community if the people would but realize that the money spent with the mail order house or with any merchant outside our own community robs our own town of prosperity, prevents progress that enables the merchant to create more opportunities in the forms of jobs, more local improvements, increased real estate values, all of which tends to enhance the value of our entire community. The nation and state is only as strong as each individual community, only as progressive and solvent as each district's ability to furnish young, ambitious, healthy, educated sons and daughters. Our local merchants aid magnificently toward this composite picture. We sustain and maintain local health, fire, police, school, library, and many other public benefactory efforts. The employees of these services owe it to local merchants to purchase local commodities, to teach and practice local pride. It is a sound truism: united we stand, and united we succeed. Ladies and gentlemen, your community is composed of you and you and you. Your local merchant is your friend and neighbor. He stands willing and eager to assist you. They deposit in our banks. They employ local help, and they pay local taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, support wholeheartedly your local merchant.
right, one last film for you. I think we're going to end a little bit short this time, but this one features our good friend Ben Franklin, who is somehow teleported to the future, and he helps us sell America. And so selling America, of course, selling the American way of life, American democracy, and of course, products. So here is Selling America. Enjoy.
There, you see how you contradict yourself. You see where your pretty reasoning leads you.
Aye, I presume thou art in the right, Ben Franklin.
Presume? Huh. Unquestionably I'm in the right. I was in the right in the beginning. I've been in the right all along. I'm always right.
Thou hast won the disputation, Ben Franklin. But I won't concede it to thee.
Won't concede it, eh? Why, my friend? Prithee, why?
Because, Ben, thou art not content with being in the right. Thou hast to be overbearing and insolent as well. Good day to thee, sir.
Well,
Good day, Mistress Franklin.
Did you win your argument, Benjamin?
What, dear child?
I say, did you win the argument with your Quaker friend?
Win? Win? Did I win?
Ben Franklin, the great American diplomat and philosopher. One of the greatest salesmen that ever lived. He began life an inveterate arguer. But when his Quaker friend drove home the awful truth, Ben took it on the chin and asked himself a few questions. He did some powerful thinking, and he came to the conclusion that you don't win arguments by arguing. But what is more important, Ben did something about it. He decided to correct his faults. He determined to change his method of working with people. He formulated some rules to govern his man-to-man relations. Virtue is obtained rather by the use of the ears than of the tongue. Put on the humble inquirer. Argument is productive of disgusts and perhaps enmities. In answering an opinion, observe that in certain cases, the opinion would be right. Forbear all direct contradictions to the sentiments of others and all positive assertions. Lose no time, but let each part of your business have its time. They are simple, these rules, but they helped make possible Ben's long and illustrious career of selling America. They helped make Ben one of the most effective salesmen of all time. Now, Ben wasn't what we would call a natural-born salesman, but by applying these rules, he sold the people of Pennsylvania his ideas for clean streets. People weren't attracted to Ben, just the opposite, in fact. But despite this, he sold his ideas for a volunteer fire department and a public library. By nature, Ben didn't have the knack of getting along with people, yet he put over his ideas for a free hospital and state university. Ben was a poor speaker, but he carried his points. He sold America to the French and secured many millions of dollars in loans. Loans which made possible the victories of General George Washington. As an old man, Ben went to the Constitutional Convention and sold America on signing the supreme law of the land. Selling America wasn't a hit or miss proposition with Ben. It all came down to the simple rules he established for himself early in life, and which he applied throughout the length and breadth of his long selling career. Now, this is all very well and good, but the modern salesman says,
how do Ben's rules apply to modern selling? What kind of a salesman would Ben make today? Times have changed. Customers today are different. Selling America today isn't like selling America back in the 18th century.
You're quite right, sir. Times have changed. The modern customer is different. In dress, in manner of living. The modern tempo is faster. You are quite right, sir. In your selling, you offer services undreamed of in my time. You answer needs that never existed before. What you sell America is entirely different, but how you sell it is something else. The methods of influencing people to buy are more or less universal. They're based on human nature, which is perhaps the one thing in all the years that has remained constant.
Then you think I can sell, well, refrigerators, ranges, automobile tires, anything at all that's modern, by some of those rules?
Indeed I do, sir.
Well, Ben, you'll have to show me.
That will be a pleasure, sir.
All right, Ben. What's your first rule again?
My first rule, sir, is virtue is obtained rather by the use of the ears than of the tongue. Put on the humble inquirer.
Which in up-to-date English means get the prospect to talk, ask questions, eh, Ben?
Right, sir.
But then does that always apply? Isn't it a good idea to let the prospect know that you know what you're selling?
Yes, indeed. But there's a time and a place for all that. After you have found out just what to sell him. The salesman who doesn't get the prospect to talk, who doesn't ask questions, is likely to monopolize the conversation and lose the sale because he never does find out the prospect's real reason for not buying. The salesman who uses his tongue rather than his ears is likely to run into this difficulty.
While you're here, Mr. Daniels, if you have time, I'd like to show you our tires. You'll be needing some new ones before long, you know.
Yes, I know. But I generally buy my tires down the street at Ed's place.
Well, if it's economy and tires you're looking for, Mr. Daniels, I think I can prove to you that our make of tire comes just as cheap as those down the street. That is, cheap when you consider the service and long life you get out of our make.
Well,
Why, Mr. Daniels, these tires have been put through all kinds of road tests before they were placed on the market. Scientifically conducted road tests by the greatest engineers in the industry. And they prove conclusively that this tire has the greatest mileage of any tire you can buy today. Just let me...
I'll think it over and let you know. I have an appointment.
Pet selling points are often the reason for lost sales. The salesman tries to sell something that he himself is interested in, and frequently it is not at all what the prospect is interested in. That's why rule number 1 says, get the prospect to talk. Ask questions. In that way, you can find out what the prospect really wants.
How do you find out what his real reasons are for not buying?
Well, the simplest way to do that, I should say, is to ask why.
Why?
Uh-huh. Let's see how it works on Mr. Daniels.
While you're here, Mr. Daniels, if you have time, I'd like to show you our tires. You'll be needing some new ones before long, you know.
Yes, I know. But I generally buy my tires down the street at Ed's place.
Is that so, Mr. Daniels? Just why do you like that particular tire?
Well, I don't know. I've been using them a long time. I like the way they're made.
In other words, you like their construction.
Well, yes, I guess that's it.
I see. Just why do you like that particular construction?
Well, I'll tell you. I do a good deal of traveling in all kinds of weather. What I like most about that tire is the tread.
Well, I don't want to be too inquisitive, Mr. Daniels, but just what do you like about that tread?
Well, it doesn't skid.
I see. Well, that's very important in a tire. And I believe you'd be interested in seeing a new safety tread that our company has just developed.
A new tread?
Yes. I'd like to show it to you.
The prospect is really interested in safety, in non-skid. So that's what the salesman must talk about if he wants the prospect to listen. Not cost of the tire, not mileage. All the talk in the world about cost or mileage wouldn't sell that prospect when he's really interested in something else. The only way I could find that out was to ask questions. Besides, if you get people to talk, it puts you on a friendly basis. People like to talk.
Okay, Ben. What's your second rule?
My second rule is arguments are productive of disgust and perhaps enmities. Persons of good sense seldom fall into them.
That means, don't argue, eh, Ben?
Right.
Well, yes, Ben, but isn't it true that there are some people that you just can't help arguing with?
Well, I know the kind you mean, but woe to the salesman who gets into debate with them. Watch this.
You can't tell me it's cheap to cook with electricity. Somebody else maybe, but not me. I know all about cooking with it. My sister-in-law used to have an electric range and her bills ran, I don't know how much a month.
Well, Mrs. Harrison, your sister-in-law must have had a very poor range.
Oh, no, she didn't. She had a very good range, one of the best. It cost, an awful lot of money. It was a good range, all right, one of the best.
Then probably she didn't know how to cook with it.
Didn't know how to cook? What do you know about it?
What I meant was she probably wasted current, used electricity that she didn't need. Why, we've made a national survey. Why, I have statements here to prove...
I guess she knows what she needs to cook with and what she doesn't. My sister-in-law is a good cook. She was chief dietitian of, I don't know how many hospitals before she was married. Cook? Why, that little woman could cook wings around anybody I ever saw. The most beautiful pies and roasts and, well, anybody who says my sister-in-law can't cook is... What do you know about it? What can you cook?
Well,
I bet you can't even boil water. Can't even boil water. You men are all alike. You think just because you're men you know all there is to know about everything. All there is to know. My Harry is just the same. Doesn't think a woman knows anything. Anything at all. About politics or anything. What I want to tell you is the woman in this country count for something in the government, whether you...
And if you do get into an argument, there's no telling where it will lead you. But one thing is certain, though. It won't lead to a sale.
But how do you handle a woman like that, Ben?
Well, that brings me to my next rule. Rule number 3. In answering an opinion, observe that in certain cases or circumstances, the opinion would be right.
What does that mean, Ben?
Well, as you might put it, it means answer with a yes, but. That's what I'd do with a woman like that one.
You can't tell me it's cheap to cook with electricity. Somebody else maybe, but not me. I know all about cooking with it. My sister-in-law used to have an electric range and her bills ran, I don't know how much a month.
Yes, Mrs. Harrison, I can understand why you feel that way. Many people think that about electric cooking costs. Some electric ranges did cost a lot to operate. That's because many of the earlier electric ranges used a lot of current, and because rates were high. But fortunately, those conditions are no longer true.
I know, but my sister-in-law told me definitely that her range cost her $7 a month to operate.
Yes, I have no doubt that your sister-in-law's range did cost that much to operate. But today's electric rates are appreciably lower, and the modern range uses considerably less current.
Really, it's hard to believe there could be so awful much difference.
Yes, it is hard to believe. But as a matter of fact, in a national survey just completed, the average cost of operation was found to be only $2.30 a month. And here are some actual statements from owners right in this town.
Well, that certainly is surprising. I had no idea it cost so little to cook with electricity. Of course, you know, my sister-in-law did have quite an old range.
Well, Ben, the yes but technique sure pulled you through on that one. What's your next rule?
My next rule has to do with the cause of arguments. Many of them, you know, the salesman himself provokes. That's why I say in rule number 4, forbear all direct contradictions to the sentiments of others and all positive assertions.
Don't contradict. Don't be too positive.
Right. For when you do contradict, when you are too positive, well, let's see what might happen. Good day, sir.
Oh, how do you do? I'm looking for one of those grips. I didn't see what I wanted in the window. One of those, you know, grips.
What do you want it for?
Well, I'm going to do a little traveling. The company is sending me out in the field again. I'm going on the road.
Well, in that case, you don't want a grip. Nobody uses grips anymore. They're out of style. They're a back number. You want one of these.
No, I don't. I want a grip. I've always used a grip. I don't like these newfangled bags.
But I think you're mistaken. Everybody uses these bags nowadays.
I don't care.
Grips aren't any good. Not enough room in them. Can't keep your clothes right. Your suits get wrinkled. You'll carry an extra suit along with you, won't you?
Yes, but...
Well, in that case, this bag is just the thing. A place for everything, and everything in its place. Accommodates every traveling need. This is what you want.
No, it isn't. I want a grip. And if I can't get it here, I'll...
You see, I got off on the wrong foot right away by contradicting the prospect. Mind you, you may be perfectly right in everything you say, but if you present it that way, well, prospects are pretty rugged individualists sometimes. How much better it would have been to handle it this way. Good day, sir.
Well, how do you do? I'm looking for one of those grips. I didn't see what I wanted in your window. One of those, you know, grips.
Yes, I understand. Of course. Going to do a little traveling, eh?
Yep. I'm going on the road again.
Here is a very nice grip. Genuine top grain cowhide leather. Hand sewed. Lined with imported Irish linen. Will not scratch or soil.
Yeah? Well...
By the way, here's another style of bag with many new conveniences for a person who travels a lot.
Yeah, I know. But it probably costs too much.
It does cost a little more, but then the savings on suit pressings would in a short time more than pay for the difference.
Well, I never thought about one of those. But you know, that looks all right.
In other words, always be sure to show them what they ask for first.
Yes. By not contradicting and getting off on the right track, you're well on the way to stepping the prospect up to a better sale, to what he really needs, and to having a better satisfied customer.
All right, Ben, where do we go from here? What's rule number 5?
Rule number 5 is lose no time. Cut off all unnecessary actions. Let all things have their places, but let each part of your business have its time.
Don't waste time, but tell a complete story?
Right. Now suppose I'm selling a woman a refrigerator. I find out, by getting the prospect to talk, that she's interested in the ice tray. All right. You see, Mrs. Brown, a simple lift of this lever and the cubes are released instantly. The quick cube tray, it's called. Here, try it. Isn't it easy?
Just a minute, Ben. You find out what the prospect is interested in by getting her to talk. But after you've sold her on that, what do you do then, Ben? Whip out the order book and go after the old signature?
No, I don't do that. Oh, I give her an opportunity to buy, sure. But usually, if you do it too early in the sale, you'll find she'll hedge on you. Why? Because she's busy thinking up other things she's interested in.
What are you driving at, Ben?
Just this. I must tell a complete story. Not only must I sell her on the things she told me she was interested in, but I must sell her on the other things she's interested in that she didn't tell me about. Maybe she didn't even think about. If I'm a smart salesman, I anticipate these things. Consider the savings. Lifetime porcelain finish. No tugging, no hacking, no prying. Extra cold storage for ice cubes and meat. Full width sliding shelves.
hydrator for fruits and vegetables. 9-way adjustable interior. Thermo-sealed cabinet. The simplest refrigerating mechanism ever built.
What you want is a refrigerator that'll give you all these things, Mrs. Brown. Now, what day would be convenient for you to have this model delivered to your home? Wednesday or Thursday?
Well, I don't know. Wednesday I go to the club. Thursday morning I'll be home. But how much do I have to pay down?
We'll arrange that to suit you, Mrs. Brown. How much would be convenient?
Well, I don't know. Would $25 be all right?
That'll be fine. Now, if you'll just okay this order, Mrs. Brown, we'll have it out to your house Thursday morning. And thank you very much. A complete story gets the order, because you never know what particular feature is going to make the prospect definitely decide to buy. And unless you do tell a complete story, you may overlook the one feature that will turn the trick.
One more thing, Ben, about that order. Does she always sign it?
No, she doesn't. The salesman doesn't live who can close every deal. But I'll say this, if she goes out with my complete story in her mind, she's going to be a mighty tough prospect for any competitive salesman. Because if she goes out, she'll know a lot about my product, and that competitive salesman is going to be on the defensive every step of his contact.
Okay, Ben, okay. Thank you very much. Those rules of yours sure do the job. They work just as well in today's job of selling America.
Well, they should. After all, they're universal principles of human association. You see, they're broader than just selling alone. They apply to any and every matter of contact. They're the rules for a better relationship of man to man. And I feel that I can say this without seeming vain, for they weren't new with me, these rules. They're as old as history. I picked them up from salesmen who lived hundreds of years before my time.
Get the prospect to talk. Ask questions. Don't argue. Answer with a yes, but. Don't contradict. Don't be too positive. Don't waste time, but tell a complete story. Use these 5 rules every day, in every contact, and you can sell America.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. We will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow is a special show. I was going to do something Halloween-oriented, but I kind of went down a weird path. So join us tomorrow and figure out what that is. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. You can support us, even though I'm not local, but you could buy us some coffee, because I will spend money locally to buy the coffee. There's a couple of coffee roasters in Raleigh that we use. You can also go to avgeeks.com and see other things that we've digitized and put online, and you can buy DVDs, etc. Thanks so much. Tell the world you like AV Geeks, because we like you, and we will see you tomorrow.